welcome back to Spirit and Truth Yoga, the place where you can bring God onto your mat. And today we're focusing on uncertainty. These are uncertain times, times that we don't even know what lies in the days and weeks ahead, even just the day ahead. And we're going to focus on some poses today that make you feel uncertain. Maybe they're new to you, maybe you have your eyes closed, but finding our orientation in God and our faith in God to believe in Him and trust in Him in these really uncertain moments. So grab your mat and let's get going. So find a seated position. Let's ground ourselves. Just stilling our minds, getting ready for this practice today. So find an easy position. Maybe you want to sit on a blanket or a towel. Maybe you want to come into child's pose. Whatever's going to help you orient yourself on your mat to begin this practice. Making any minor adjustments that you need to come into stillness. Connecting with your breath. Mentally unplugging from the devices that tether you, unplugging from your phone or your computer or your Zoom call, from your children, from the distractions of life, and just connecting with yourself, plugging into yourself, your spirit, and to God here in this moment, on your mat, just being here. Every inhale, focusing on breathing in light and life, stretching tall, releasing tension with exhales, releasing tension, the past, anxiety, letting go, listening to the sound of your breath, feeling your connection to the mat. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is being sure of what we hope for and is being certain of what we do not see. Everything feels uncertain right now. Nobody really knows what lies in the days ahead. But we can find faith. We can connect to God's truth that He loves us, that we are going to be okay, that He's going to direct our steps. Finding certainty not in the facts, but in the truth of who God is, of His nature, of His love. With your next inhale, really reaching up tall through the crown of your head, stretching from tailbone to crown. Bringing hands to heart center. Set an intention for yourself. Maybe bringing that intention to God. When you're ready, and the right moment for you, come into tabletop pose. Hands below shoulders, knees below hips, tops of the feet on the mat, really spreading your fingers wide, connecting all areas of your hands to the mat. Today we're going to focus on a lot of poses that maybe your eyes will be closed or you'll be looking towards things that are normally unseen, maybe looking behind you, above you. So as we begin this practice, we're going to start in tabletop pose. Maybe you even want to close your eyes here. Starting with an inhale, rounding up into cat pose, tucking that tailbone, arching your back, tucking your head, filling all those spaces in this really nice rib and spine opener here. Exhaling down to cow, dropping navel to mat, lifting the chin, raising the hips with an inhale, raising up to cat, and following your breath to do a couple rounds of cat-cow pose. Dropping your shoulders. Squeezing one little breath in, maybe pushing a step further. Pushing one more breath out, dropping a little bit further. After your next cat pose, we'll meet in tabletop. Coming back to a neutral spine, stretching from crown of head as your forehead is parallel to the mat, through the tailbones, maybe finding some movement here in your hips, maybe doing some circles, waking up those wrists. Maybe doing small circles, opening to larger circles as you sweep out over the tops of your hands. Coming to a pause and changing direction. Breathing deeply. Tying your breath to this motion. Exhaling on the way down. Inhaling on the way up. Again, coming to a neutral tabletop pose here, pressing the tops of your feet into the mat, lifting right hand and left foot, flexing that left toe, finding strength and stability in this balancing pose. On your next inhale, curling elbow to knee. And stretching back out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretching back out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretching back out. Flexing that left foot, releasing just the hand to the mat. Sweep your left leg back, dropping it at a 45-degree angle behind you off your mat on the ball of your foot. Lifting left arm up, really stabilizing through the top of your right foot. Breathing here, feeling that glorious twist and stretch. We're going to be doing a lot of twists today, spinal twists, heart openers. Breathing here. With an exhale, sweeping arm through that hole, looking behind you. Inhale, sweeping arm up. Exhale, threading that needle, but not coming down, looking, keeping your eyes fixed on your hands, following your breath here, really stabilizing through that right leg, straightening your left leg, following your breath, pausing at the top, lowering hand back to mat, straighten that left foot, bring it back, straightening your hips, flexing that left foot, and with a final inhale, bringing knee to chin and releasing it to the mat. Switching sides, stretching left hand out in front of you, flexing and raising right leg, finding stability here, really pushing through that left big toe, pressing into the mat, breathing. With an inhale, bringing elbow to knee. Exhale, release. Inhale, elbow to knee. Exhale, release. Flexing that foot, elbow to knee. Exhale, release. One more. Inhale, elbow to knee. Exhale, release. Lowering just the hand to the mat. Flexing that right foot, bringing it behind you. Lowering it down maybe at a 45-degree angle, staying on the ball of your foot. Pressing the top of your left foot into the mat, left hand into the mat. Raising right hand up. If it's available to you, looking up to your hand. Fixing your eyes on God here, focusing on what we do not see. You don't normally see the ceiling above you. Focusing on what is unseen. Breathing here. With an exhale, sweeping right arm through the whole of your left arm, looking at your hand. On an inhale, raising up. With an exhale, threading that hole. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Lowering hand to the mat. Straightening and strengthening that right foot as you raise it up. Really flexing that right foot strong behind you. One more time. On an inhale. Knee to chin. Nice and strong. And lowering it back down. Maybe shifting again side to side. Beautiful job. Let's come into crocodile pose here. Finding a plank, lowering down all the way, crossing forearms, making that pillow, really grounding through your navel, your abdomen here into the mat. Hips opening, ankles falling together, falling apart, whatever's available to you. Breathing here. Connecting with the unseen. When you're ready, bringing hands under shoulders, pressing up into downward dog. Maybe you want to pedal your feet out, bringing some movement here. Coming to stillness and just breathing. On an exhale, shifting forward into plank, lowering down for our first back bend. Maybe you want to come into cobra or sphinx pose, like I'm doing sphinx pose with forearms on the mat. Breathing here, raising through the crown of the head. Warming up that spine. Lowering down, hands under shoulders. Pressing back up into downward dog. Maybe pressing a little bit further into this one. Lowering heart to the mat, raising hips, lowering heels, whatever is pressing you to the next step. Never wanting to feel pain, backing off from any edge of pain. Looking now between your hands, stepping your right foot up for our first low lunge, lowering your knee to the mat, flipping your toes. When you're Finding your stability, either staying here or once you're stable, raising up to hands at heart center. Lowering shoulders down, shifting those hips forward and breathing. Closing your eyes if they're not already closed. We're going to focus on doing this very simple motion with eyes closed, not needing to see what we're doing. If it makes you feel too unstable, of course, you can open your eyes. Finding your stability in this moment, not needing to see anything. Lowering your hands to frame your foot. Stepping back into plank pose by flipping your left toes, stepping right toes back to meet left. Finding strength and length here in your plank. Lowering down, finding whatever back bend you prefer. Sphinx pose, cobra pose. Breathing here, keeping those eyes closed if you're able. Breathing. Connecting with truth and not what is seen. Hands under shoulders, pressing into your downward dog. Keeping those eyes closed. You don't need to see what you're doing. Using your mind's eye, stepping your left foot up between your hands, lowering your right knee to coming up to a low lunge on this side. Being certain of what you do not see. Breathing. Hands to frame foot, stepping back into plank pose. On an inhale, lowering down. Exhale, finding that back bend. Inhale, lowering down, pushing up to downward dog. We're going to do a side plank now, but before we do a side plank, keeping your eyes closed in downward dog, I wanted to read Proverbs 3:5, which says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." Shifting forward into plank pose from your downward dog, bringing right hand underneath your heart in the center of your mat, shifting your weight, rotating your hips, lowering your right foot flat on the mat. Maybe you want to lower your knee here, or if you're able, just coming into a nice long line and raising your left hand up to one nice long line, arm to arm, one nice long line, toe to crown of head. Again, if you're needing to, just drop that knee. But again, leaning not on your own normal strength, trusting in God, leaning not in our own understanding in this very uncertain, difficult pose. Breathing here, finding straightness in God. Breathe. One more breath. Exhale, lowering hand down, finding your way back to plank. Lowering down. Finding a back bend. Lowering down. Resting cheek on the mat to find a moment of rest. Allowing your heart to connect to the mat. Maybe your feet fall away for a moment. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Bringing hands under shoulders, pressing up into plank pose. We're going to do side plank on the other side, bringing left hand to the center of your mat, rotating to the outer edge of your left foot, dropping knee or just raising right hand up. If you're able, look up at your right fingertips. Looking to God, He will make your path straight. Don't lean on your own strength. Don't lean on your own understanding. Go within. Go to God. One more breath. With control, lowering hand to the mat, finding your way to plank, lowering down, resting on opposite cheek, allowing your hips to rest, your ankles to fall apart. Breathing here. When you're ready, find your way back up to your downward dog. Breathing here. Looking between your hands, eyes open. Walk, step, or jump up to a forward fold. Hanging like a rag doll, letting all that go. All the energy and alertness that you just created, just hanging, maybe even swaying side to side, grabbing opposite elbows, shaking your head yes or no. Whatever allows you to just set free any of that effort and work and strain and just being here. Raising arms by ears in this forward fold, sinking that tailbone, coming into chair pose, tucking your tailbone, allowing your legs to draw energy from one another as they draw together, raising your heart, breathing here, bringing hands to heart center. You're going to take a prayer twist, lowering right elbow to left knee and looking up behind you. Remembering what is unseen, looking at what is uncertain. Breathing here. On an inhale, coming back to center. And twisting left elbow to right knee, taking the twist on the opposite side. Again, looking to what is unseen, what is uncertain and unknown, making peace with it, acknowledging it. But connecting with the truth of God, which is always constant. Breathing deeply, coming back to heart center, finding again that forward fold, releasing, straightening those legs, allowing it just to hang here. Allow your fingertips to frame both feet. Step back with your left foot. We're going to come into pyramid pose. Your ankles should line up and your left foot should be at a 90-degree angle. Straightening that left leg, staying in the forward fold, just hanging here. Eyes closed. Feeling that beautiful stretch in your right leg. Breathing deeply, breathing into those spaces that you feel all that energy, trying to release and disperse some of that energy. Slowly allow your hands to find your hips, stretching through the crown of your head so you have one nice long back, raising almost like a thread is pulling the crown of your head up, under control, raising up. Rotating your hips to the front of your mat so that your hips are now parallel with the long edge of your mat. We'll raise our arms up, coming up to Trikonasana, triangle pose. Stretching again, our hips will move in the opposite direction towards the back of our mat. Fingertips edge towards the front of our mat. A nice lean here. And dropping down slowly with control to hands rest on shin, mat, or a blocker, wherever is available to you. The goal is not to touch the mat, but to really open your heart, raising up so that your front body is one nice flat surface. Looking up at those fingers. Psalm 119 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Oftentimes, we don't know where we're going, and God's not going to tell us exactly where we're going, but His word can guide us to truth, which can remind us of who He is, of His promises, and to direct our steps. I want you to lower your left hand to the mat or your shin, opening up right hand to do a twist on this side. If it's available to you, looking up at those right fingers, finding stability in your legs. Even if we can't see our path, like in this moment, God is illuminating it. God is going to direct it. Breathing deeply here. Lowering hands to the mat, stepping back into plank pose, lowering down, finding a back bend with an exhale, lowering down, finding your way to downward dog. Looking between your hands, stepping your left foot up this time, dropping your right heel at a 90-degree angle, finding pyramid pose, stretching that left leg nice and straight, folding your crown of your head to wherever it may land, finding that beautiful stretch, all that energy built up in your left leg. Breathing deeply here, dispersing that energy with your breath. Allow your fingers to find your hips with one long, beautiful line, raising up almost like a thread is pulling you through the crown of your head up to a nice tall position. Rotating your hips so they're parallel with the mat. On an inhale, raising up your arms, reaching with your left fingertips as your hips pull towards the back of your mat. Finding triangle pose here. Slowly with control, lowering left hand to shin or to the mat, raising up with one long line with your right hand. Gazing up at those right fingertips. Bringing in that light that God is offering you, the light to your path, even when you don't see the path before you. Welcoming that light, that insight, that truth. With an exhale, bringing right hand to mat or to shin, to ankle, lifting with your left hand, doing a twist here, reverse triangle, breathing, feeling that beautiful spinal twist. And when you're ready, lowering hands to the mat, rotating feet, stepping back into downward dog. See if you can nudge your heels just a breath toward the mat, dropping heart one smidgen more, lifting hips, and lowering knees to the mat. Coming into child's pose, let's bring our arms alongside our legs for this child's pose, dropping forehead to the mat, palms up, touching your feet, feeling this beautiful connection with yourself on the mat, as almost every part of the body is as close as physically possible. Breathing deeply here. Closing your eyes. Letting it all go, finding peace and contentment. When you're ready, coming up into table pose, hands under your shoulders, knees under hips. We're gonna come into what's called tripod pose. This is probably gonna be a new pose for most of you. It's the beginnings of a headstand, but I'm gonna make it available to everyone. If you're not able to do this, no worries, just focus on the meditation. In Proverbs 16, verse 9, it says, "The mind of a man plans his ways, but the Lord shows him what to do." As we connect with our mind on the mat, we can bring our mind in connection with God. In this very uncertain pose, which you will feel wobbly and possibly disoriented, finding your mind-God connection as you bring your mind and your crown of your head to the mat, really connecting that with God and asking Him to direct you to find stability in His plans for you. So really spreading your fingers wide, lower your forehead to the mat, raising your hips nice and tall, maybe even inching your hands. You want them to be right at about your ears. So rolling to the top of your head, you're going to now flip your toes, coming to the balls of your feet and straightening your legs. So crown of the head, both hands, balls of the feet are on the mat. Maybe this is enough for you. Staying here, connecting with God as you connect your mind to the mat, allowing Him to direct your steps. Maybe you inch your toes forward towards your elbows. Maybe you just bring your elbows to knees, allowing your elbows and knees to touch. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bring your knees to the tops of your elbows like a shelf so that they rest on the tops of your elbows. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you hover your feet above the mat and stay here. Wherever you are, find stillness and surrender to God with your uncertain plans, submitting them to Him, being okay with this uncertainty, grounding yourself, submitting yourself in God. One more breath. Slowly lowering toes to the mat if they're above. Walking your legs back, lowering your knees to the mat. You're going to come into rabbit pose. So leaving your crown of the head to the mat. Staying on your knees, flipping your toes so that your hips are at a 90-degree angle. Bringing your hands now behind your back. Either grabbing opposite elbows, rolling your shoulders back, or interlacing fingers, rolling shoulders back in this variation of rabbit. Breathing here. Noticing the difference in stability as more of your leg is connected. As we increase the connection, we find more certainty and more stability. Unraveling your hands, bringing them back Till your palms are on the mat, lowering down slowly and with control, allowing yourself to rest on your heels, finding your forehead, extending your arms, coming into child's pose. Breathing deeply, allowing your heart to sink toward the mat, making any minor adjustments so you can rest easy in this pose. In this beautiful pose of full surrender, letting it all go, finding trust in the uncertain. When you're ready, let's meet in downward dog, leaving head down. We've drawn a lot of blood to the head. We're going to slowly reorient ourselves, pressing into downward dog, slowly with control, tiptoeing, hands, feet to meet hands, finding a forward fold. And slowly with control, one vertebrae at a time, curling up. Last and most slowly, raising your head, sweeping arms up overhead with an inhale, finding hands at standing prayer pose. Connecting with yourself, connecting with your intention that you set at the beginning of this practice again. We're going to come into eagle pose, which is, again, going to be probably a new pose for many of you. A great pose to focus on what is unseen, as our arms will be blocking our view. Sweeping arms with an inhale up overhead. Wiggle your right fingers. Sweep those right fingers underneath left elbow. So you want to make a cross with your elbows. Maybe you stay here. And you can allow your hands to rest on your head. Maybe you bring hands to touch, the back of your hands touch, or bring palms to touch. The key here is that your shoulders should be square. Wherever your shoulders start to twist, you should back up a step. Really having shoulders square here, lifting your elbows and pulling your hands away from your face. You want to have a nice straight right angle with your elbow here, as you'll feel it really between your shoulder blades. And you'll notice that this obviously blocks your view. You probably can't see me. It'll block your view, and I want you to focus on what is unseen. Focus on a spot just beyond your nose, some spot on your arm or your shirt, and really focusing on that, the mindfulness of that. John 4:18 says, perfect love drives out fear. And when we can't see things, we become fearful. And so, you can let that go. So we want to focus on being okay with what's unseen and not getting afraid, but trusting that God loves us and He's got you, and He's going to carry you through this uncertainty. So again, we're going to sweep our arms up overhead, wiggle those right fingers, sweep them underneath left, coming into a crossed arm position, bringing hands to shoulders, back of hands to touch, or palms to chest, raising the elbows, drawing wrists away from the face. Drop all of your weight into your right leg, lifting up to your left toes. You're going to drop into your right knee like you're coming into chair and cross your ankles, staying up on the ball of your left foot. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bring your knees to cross, stay here, or maybe you bring foot behind calf, dropping into that almost like a chair. You're in a bound chair, basically. I'm going to shift so you can see. So I'm finding stillness here. Remembering the integrity, you want your hips and your shoulders square, not to be twisting, and accepting the unseen, not allowing it to make you fearful, remembering God's love for you. When you're ready, with control, slowly, not flopping out of that, but with control, undoing whatever you just did, shaking it out. Let's take a forward fold. Inhale, exhale, fold. Releasing, maybe even shaking your legs out a little bit here. Inhaling up to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping arms up. Hands to heart center. Breathing, releasing. Getting ready for taking eagle on the other side. Inhaling, arms up. Wiggle those left fingers, sweeping them underneath right. Finding wherever your hands rest, doing exactly what you did on the other side. Stepping your weight into your left foot. Crossing those ankles. Staying here or lowering down a little bit. Crossing knees or wrapping your foot all the way around your calf and coming into stillness. Accepting the unseen here. Not getting fearful in what is new, what is unseen, what is uneasy. Breathing deeply. And slowly, with control, slowly coming out. Arms up overhead. And folding. Find your way onto your mat, on your back. Leaving your feet on the mat, lowering down. We're going to take reverse pigeon pose. So bringing your right foot to your left knee. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe just even a little bit of pressure on your right knee. Not letting that left hip pop up off the mat. Using your right leg, your left leg, your left foot to keep that left hip grounded. Maybe you want to draw your left knee towards you, wrapping hands behind thigh, behind knee. Breathing deeply here for this wonderful hip opener. Not carrying the tension in your shoulders. Keep those relaxed. Flex that left foot. Breathing here. Feeling all of that heat and that energy, that strength. In the right hip, maybe you would describe it as screaming. Nonetheless, breathing, breath there, encouraging it to release. Slowly lowering, left foot back to the mat, unwinding. Let's drop our knees to the left side, taking a twist, looking over the opposite shoulder. Maybe you even want to cross your knees here for a little bit extra. Or maybe this is enough for you. With an inhale, coming back to center. This time, planting right foot flat in the mat. Bringing left knee over right. Staying here or lifting right leg. Interlacing fingers behind on your shin or behind your thigh. Breathing deeply. Keeping right hip down, keeping shoulders down. Flexing the feet. Drawing your neck towards the mat, not allowing your head to pop up off the mat. Drawing your chin to the mat. Your breath is a powerful tool to drive away tension with anxiety or with physical tension. Really breathe deep into that left hip. Direct that energy, direct that breath to disperse that heat, to open it up. Doing a lot of sitting these days in front of our computers. Your hips are probably extra tight. being kind, understanding that, being gracious with yourself. Lower your right foot to the mat, unwinding left foot to the mat, and slowly with control, sliding those heels down to straightness. Opening your shoulders. This is a moment in our practice. If you have a practice of your own that you might want to take an inversion, we're not going to today. We could take bridge pose, legs at the wall, shoulder stand, headstand, whatever's a traditional part of your practice. Getting ready for Shavasana, that we still our mind, directing all the heat, the energy, the mindfulness that we have created in this practice to this moment. And coming into stillness. Allowing it all to go free. Allowing that energy to wash from your shoulder to your fingertips. Like a wave washing from your hips down, your legs out of your toes. A whole body release. Welcoming and embracing the journey ahead. Drawing your mind back to your mat. Finding the gentle discipline of stillness. Moving your fingers and your toes. Awakening those muscles again. Maybe swallowing a few times. Rolling to one side. Maybe bringing knees up or forming a pillow with your arm. Taking one more moment for yourself. Maybe accepting the uncertainty that lies ahead. And when you're ready, pressing yourself slowly up to a seated position with your eyes closed. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see." With your inhales, I want you to breathe in hope and to breathe out uncertainty. Breathing in surety, being sure, and breathing out fear. bring your mind back to the intention that you came to on your mat today. Bringing hands to heart center. Connecting with whatever you learned on your mat today. Connect that with God, bring that to Him. God, we know that things are very uncertain right now. Uncertain on a global level, uncertain on a personal level. Every minute, every hour, every week, every month that lies ahead can feel so uncertain. Help us to trust in the truth of who you are, to have faith in your love and your goodness, in your direction and your counsel, to not find fear in what's unseen, but rather to find hope and to find love, to find truth and to find peace. Letting your eyes open. Thank you for joining me today. Again, this is Spirit and Truth Yoga, the place where you can bring God on your mat. In John 4, Jesus says that true worshipers must worship in spirit and truth. And I hope that you learned some truths about God today that can help you in these uncertain times, to help you battle and conquer the uncertainty in your life. Not that we can change it, not that we know all the facts or what lies ahead, but finding truth in God. If you want to know more about God's truth, my information is at the end of this video. Please feel free to reach out to me. And until next time, namaste.